22. Ezekiel chapter 22, and I'm going to start reading in verse 23. Ezekiel chapter 22. I'll read verse 23. Ezekiel chapter 22, starting at verse 23. If you can, would you stand for the reading of God's word? Ezekiel chapter 22, starting at verse 23. And it reads, "Again the word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, say to the land, you are a land that has had no rain or showers in the day of wrath. There is a conspiracy of her princes within her, like a roaring lion tearing its prey. They devour people, take treasures and precious things, and make many widows within her. Her priests do violence to my law and profane my holy things. They do not distinguish between the holy and the common. They teach that there is no difference between the clean and the unclean. And they shut their eyes to the keeping of my Sabbath, so that I am profane among them. Her officials within her are like wolves tearing their prey. They shed blood and kill people to make unjust gain. Her prophets whitewash these deeds for them by false visions and lying divinations. They say, this is what the sovereign Lord says, when the Lord has not spoken. The people of the land practice extortion and commit robbery. They oppress the poor and needy and mistreat the alien, denying them justice. I looked for a man among them who would build up the wall and stand before me in the gap on behalf of the land, so I would not have to destroy it, but I found none." May God add a blessing to the reading, hearing, and doing of His word. Let us pray. Gracious Father, I thank you for this time, and I ask you now to speak through me. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be accepted in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Amen. You may be seated. Ooh, that was some pretty hard words that I read in Ezekiel. Y'all might be saying, where in the world is G going with that? All that negativity in the text. Well, in this chapter 22, and I only read a little bit. Y'all just got a glimpse of what this chapter is talking about. But in this chapter, Ezekiel is trying to explain to Jerusalem why judgment would come, how it would come, and who would be judged by it. So he was kind of painting a picture, and I wanted to do the last part of this chapter because it's Father's Day.
All right.
And a lot of people kind of, when people mock me or mark me, they always do it. They always say, I say, come on, man. Y'all, they say I say that a lot. That's my response. Come on, man. Well, that's the title of my sermon today. Come on, man.
All right.
Now, there are different ways you can say, come on, man. You can say, come on, man. Or you can say, come on, man.
Yeah.
Those are two distinct differences. One is kind of saying, now you know better than that. You're better than that, but you're tripping.
Yeah.
Now you got to do better, or there's a way you can say that that's so inviting, and you're asking somebody to come along, let's hook arms, and let's work this thing out.
Right.
And so, again, it's Father's Day. And there's a lot to be said about fathers, both positive and negative. And I'm going to try, because I know the text that I read was pretty negative, because I wanted to focus on verse 30.
All right.
And verse 30 says, I looked for a man among them who would build up the wall and stand before me in the gap on behalf of the land, so I would not have to destroy it, but I found none. Before y'all start yelling and fussing at me about context, and I know probably man here It's probably plural, meaning a person. Can I find somebody who is holy, that can stand in the gap, who can build a wall up, that can help this, that can help this consequence not happen?
Yes.
Because the people who have been appointed to the positions of doing it have failed. And so I said, well, I'm going to take a commercial break while I'm preaching. So on my notes I got, this is my commercial break. And the commercial break says, where the men at? And so, where the men at? I said, okay, where the men at in church? So I looked up where the men at. I Googled where the men at. And so they gave me some theories that I'm going to read, then I'm going to get back to my sermon.
Okay.
One theory is that church's teachings emphasize humility, holiness, and introspection. And these are seen by some men as weak or somehow less than masculine. Men are looking to be challenged with a bold message of adventure, danger, and aggressiveness. So because we're teaching humility and holiness and introspection, that is a theory or a thought that keeps men away. And I said, okay. Another theory is that many churches knowingly or unknowingly create a feminine atmosphere with their decor, floral arrangements, pastel colors, frilly curtains, and pictures of passive pastoral scenes make for a peaceful ambiance. But they tend to make men feel a disconnect. Some churches attempt to appeal to masculine sensibilities by changing their decor to something edgier, darker, more robust, and less nurturing. Okay, this is just I'm just reading whatever. It's not my thoughts. Another explanation to why there are so few men in the church has to do with the stereotypical masculine ego. Men are naturally self-reliant, headstrong, and proud, and the theory goes and are therefore naturally more resistant to the divine call to humility and submission. The gospel confronts our need, and men are often averse to admitting neediness. Now, that may have a little credence. I hear a lot over here. I'm still not going, but that's why they say men aren't in the church. That's going to be my last point there. Lastly, this is the last one, it was more, but I stopped here. Most men were reared by fathers who did not attend church services, so have no role model for masculine involvement in church. Their suggestion that men, the traditional breadwinners, are too busy working or enjoying their day off to commit to a church, and overly sentimental church music is sometimes mentioned as something that keeps men away too. I said, wow. Then I wrote these words. Ted, Nathaniel, Jesse, Russ, Dwayne, Billy, Aaron, Daryl, Earl, Marcus, Amir, Josh, Omar, Cheo, Romar, Isaac, Micah, Paris, Cyrus, Jackson, Josiah, Jeremiah, and Kamari. These are the men and the young men and the boys of our church. If I left anybody out, sorry, but I think I got it. What are they doing? That list right there, I like that list. That list is pretty powerful to me. But I think we're going to have to do a little bit more to get some more men up in here. How do y'all know that something happens when men are in the house?
Amen. Amen. Yes.
Y'all don't believe that? Trust me. It's true. Men in the house, I believe men in the house mean that they're taking their rightful place. So they're in the house. And when they're in the house, things change.
Right.
But them theories that we got going on are simply excuses, I think, to keep men out. Or to give us a reason not to come. And I'm not going for that. And I hope Proverbs will not be a place that is so not challenging enough or not, whatever. Let's create an environment where men will be welcome.
Amen. Amen.
And if sheep begat sheep,
There you go.
men can beget men.
There you go.
Amen.
There you go.
And unfortunately, when the men come, the women come.
Wow.
Y'all don't want to hear. Okay, let me go back. Let me go back to Ezekiel since y'all don't want to hear about that. I believe if the man would stand up, the man, now I'm talking about the physical man, the man, the male species, stand up and become a real bridge builder,
Right.
something happens. Something happens to us, and it happens to you all as female when you see us in our rightful place.
That's right. That's right.
Here in the text, Ezekiel is trying to help Jerusalem understand that something getting ready to happen because you all are not doing what you're supposed to do. He goes through a line of priests and prophets and all these people who are in these positions
Right.
of supposedly carrying a law according to Leviticus, but they have defamed, they have done some ugly stuff to where we can't tell the difference between a saint and a sinner.
Wow.
And y'all saying that happened way in the Old Testament? Yes, absolutely. Because something happens when we get off track. And something has happened in our communities where men, I think men are, what's the word I want to use, Pastor? We are distracted, but I think it's systematically distracted. I think things are put in place to keep us distracted. And because they're put in place to systematically keep us distracted, we fall prey to it at times. And we don't want to be that type of people. I know this may not be the Sunday morning Father's Day message that you want. But it is global because we have to understand somebody got to fill the gap because we got trouble coming. This world is so worse off, but the thing about it is getting ready to get worse. I hear y'all, how in the world can it get worse? Well, keep on living. You are getting ready to see some behaviors that's going to absolutely blow your mind.
Jesus.
How has our world drifted from in God we trust to we trust whatever we want to because we live a life that says I'm free and I can do whatever I want to do because it's about how I feel. And what's really sad about that is some of these ideologies have crept into the church.
Yeah. Preaching.
I'm making it hard. Y'all know, but I must be on point. Because people, y'all got some stoic looks on your face. Usually, Miss Zulu, I get an amen from somebody's face. Okay, well, let me stay right here then. I'm in the house. You in the house, G.
Have your way, God.
Can I find somebody to stand in the gap? The text says he found nobody.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me when they were in Sodom and Gomorrah, and they were trying to find somebody
Yes.
who was righteous.
Yes.
They did a countdown, didn't they?
You got to yes.
What? He got to 10, didn't he?
Yeah.
He went on and counted down. And they could not find somebody that was holy enough to keep Sodom and Gomorrah from falling.
Yeah.
Can God find somebody holy enough in Minneapolis to keep it from falling? Are we ready to stand in the gap? Are we ready to keep the statutes of God? Are we ready to abide by them? We ready to quit cutting corners? Kids are running rampant
Yes, they are.
with no guidance.
Yes.
And we watching them run rampant.
Yeah.
Will y'all quit being in the store, seeing kids run around and not say nothing to them? I know that's not grammatically correct, not nothing. Will you please confront behaviors that you know are inappropriate and quit being scared of what their parents are going to say? I hear some of y'all in the spirit say, gee, I don't care what you're saying. These parents is crazy. I'm not getting cussed out. in front of everybody, talking about standing in the gap. You better start standing in the gap. Because that same child you don't confront will be the same child that come up in here and hate the church, ready to shoot everybody up. Oh, y'all don't want to look at it like that. You better look at it like that. People are going into schools, they're going everywhere just shooting up anybody. It used to be if I got a vendetta against you. We beefing.
Right.
Well, now people are so angry, they don't care who they shoot. They just want to shoot somebody. And it could be somebody like you talking about, Lord, enlarge my territory. Don't you know you saying that to somebody makes them super angry? They don't want your territory enlarged.
Right.
Because life has dealt them a tough hand.
Yeah.
They don't want you blessed. You talking about how good God is. And I'm counting it all joy when I fall into diverse temptation, because I know patience has to have its perfect work. You got the nerve to say that when everything around you is going astray. And you got the nerve to trust God. You ought to be in the corner somewhere sucking your thumb. No, we're going to stand in the gap.
Yes.
We're going to be strong in the Lord.
Yes.
Now, I know that text is kind of tough to read with Ezekiel and his graphicness about how they making widows out of people. They stealing people's money. They are doing immoral sacrifices, all this stuff.
Yeah.
He's talking about the priests and the false prophets coming up here saying a good word, and y'all emptying y'all pockets for a false word, because we don't have enough word on the inside of us to discern what's good and what's not good.
All right. That's good.
Standing in the gap is about fortifying yourself, so you'll be able to be strong to pull somebody up with you, and that you can intercede.
Yes.
When I was studying for this text, I said, I'm so glad I followed God's direction on Intercession Sunday. Some of y'all was praying, didn't know. Miss Zulu looked upside my head. What you calling me to pray for somebody for? Boy, but I know God told me to do that. No sooner than Uncle Charles prayed for Miss Nellis, when she got home, somebody had died.
Yeah.
What? Interceding, standing in the gap,
Hallelujah.
caring about your brothers and sisters more than you care about yourself. It's time for us to be selfless Christians in 2018.
Preach the word. Yes.
As we reposition.
Yes.
We reposition physically and mentally. Spiritually is the main one.
Yes.
But this thing about I got to take care of me. God is stripping us of that.
Yes.
Know how he's stripping us? He's putting us in situations that we can't hide.
Help, Lord. Yes. Yes.
We used to be able to hide a little bit. We ain't got to tell nobody that. Nobody will know.
Oh, God.
But y'all living y'all lives out on social media, everybody know everything.
Helping somebody.
I'm just giving my testimony online. Okay.
Right. Doing
Too much. Yeah. There does have to be a little wisdom.
That's right. That's right.
Y'all don't want to hear that either. Okay, I'm messing with. I heard a sermon last week that black folks are on social media every 0.1 of a second.
My God. Wow. Help us, Lord.
Black folk. How we spending our time?
Come on now.
How you gonna stand in the gap?
Come on now.
When we spending more time on social media than we are in our Bible. Y'all know how I'm gonna say that.
But you're in the house. Yes.
I hear y'all saying it's scripture on social media. It's preaching on social media. But that's not what y'all do on social media. much time in a critical hour. Ezekiel was trying to help him. Ezekiel was a prophet who prophesied while they were in exile.
Hallelujah.
Trying to help them.
Thank you, God.
Get this thing together.
Thank you, God.
Come on.
Thank you, God.
Don't y'all see what's going on? But when the priests are bowing down, when the elders are bowing down to Baal, not God, to Baal, when all the leaders are bowing down, it makes it real hard. But I'm saying we got to stand up. We want God to be able to pick us out of the crowd, to stand out, not for any selfish gain, but because it's necessary. And when men, I'm going back to men, fathers are important. And you got to be a father to kids that didn't come out your baby's mama's wombs. Let's say that. Everybody may not be married. It's kids that are out there that are so hungry. I went to the club for my first group for the summer program. Miss Netta, she gave me the hardest ones. She handpicked them. 2 of them was on the wall when I got there. She said, make sure you get them.
Lord have mercy.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
What was funny, the main one, she said, get at him. That's what you, is that what you said?
Yeah.
I gave him one good sit down. Good. God, they were so obedient. They were sitting down. They was participating. They were sharing their feelings. This the first day.
That's good.
And what I said was, a man does make a difference. Now I got skills. I got skills. But I think with that first day, that big man who knew who he was, who knew he had to stand in a gap,
Yes.
knew he had to deal with a whole lot of different behaviors, because you know you gotta make the group gel together, because they got all kind of stuff going on.
Right.
But I'm saying, wow, we have some power as men when we walk in it the right way.
That's right. That's good.
You don't say it. Don't say it. Women, you have to help stroke these men's egos, though.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
See, y'all don't want, get at him, G, get at him. Don't tell us what we need to do. Father's Day. And Mr. Greg, we didn't say Happy Father's Day. Just children are not here to celebrate you. But we said everybody else got honored, so Happy Father's Day, because you father 500 kids at Hope Academy. That ain't our children. And so, but you always need encouragement.
Yeah.
Let me say it again. And I know y'all don't need, this message is not for y'all. This is for you to tell your girlfriends that y'all need to empower your men.
Amen. That's true.
I'm touching on Gail. Ooh! I can say that. But since she said that, me and Aunt Gail used to have a conversation when she was in Negro's class. She used to ask me why her husband ain't coming. He better get here. He a heathen. He working. He dealing with them guys. His group, what the L, who was the group? So what's the group? Masons. He with the Masons. He spend more time with the Masons. He need to be at church. He going to hell. That's what she said. Look at Makeda, don't say that. She's strong enough, she got it. We better quit. Sometimes we have to experience some things vicariously through somebody else. And today, the sacrificial lamb is on here. So I won't tell none of y'all's other business. But I used to tell Aunt Gail, leave him alone.
That's right.
Make sure you live your life.
Yeah.
That'll make him want to come to church.
Yeah.
Now, she done made some other decisions, but can I tell y'all, Uncle Mike is still watching Aunt Gail. I don't don't care what they doing or what they think they doing. Uncle Mike's still watching you. He's seeing the witness that she's standing in the gap for him. But she can't make him come. But guess what? You can make him come. You can make coming to church and being a servant of God so rewarding. And so attractive that they want to come to church.
That's right.
Miss Kipper talked about her nephew who never went to church, right? He went, now he going to either Pastor Fulford's church or Pastor Milligan's church. One of them. Guess what? We don't care where they go.
That's hallelujah.
But thank God we played a role because we are the building, the physical building but one of them pastors did something that attracted her nephew.
Yeah.
But can I tell you, her nephew was watching her before she found a church. How do we know that? Why would he call her and tell her I found a church? Because he knew that Miss Kipper had some kind of expectation and she lived a life that he saw that made him look for churches. He had to come to them. So why he didn't come here? It doesn't matter. She still had influence on him.
That's right.
That's about standing in the gap.
Yes.
That's about she had to accept, listen to me, she had to accept some behaviors that were not God. I didn't say accept, what she had to tolerate. When you tolerate something, you still can build up somebody's ego in the process of tolerating what they're doing that makes you sick.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, that's not for you, that's for somebody else. Hope y'all heard what I said. We're talking about patience and self-control, fruits of the Spirit, joy, all that stuff that we forget when somebody get on our nerves. All of that is what God was at. Ezekiel was trying to help them figure out. We need somebody who can stand in the gap, who can exemplify the fruits of the Spirit. Now talk about it.
That's right.
Well, we some great oral folk when we talk about what we should do. But when it comes when that rubber hit that road and we got to execute, sometimes we fall short. But I'm saying let's step our game up.
Yeah.
My baby daddy ain't doing nothing. Yeah, I know I'm talking. Yeah, I'm talking right now. No. Man, should have picked a nut. Sometimes we tell our kids that. Your daddy's no good. I wish you had a different dad. Don't say that. Y'all quit playing like y'all never heard somebody say that. You ain't gotta say it. That's good. I'm glad you didn't say it. But somebody may be in your periphery that says it. And it's your job to confront that. That's about standing in the gap. Standing in the gap is not just standing in the gap for people at Proverbs. Standing in the gap is standing for everybody you come in contact with. Because that is your priestly duty.
Yes.
And you don't have to have ordination papers to stand in the gap for somebody. Don't have to know the Bible backwards and forwards. Say all the books of the Bible and quote all the verses. You don't have to do that to stand in the gap.
No, sir.
I could say you can have one simple gift. It's called love.
Love.
It'll take care of everything. It'll take care of it all.
Yes. Yes.
It will.
It will.
Try it, you'll like it. For real.
That's good. That's good talk. Yes.
Yeah, love is more than just intimacy. It's more than that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Way more.
Sacrifice.
Yes, it is. Come on now. Come on now.
Absolutely.
Come on now.
I'll be doing like Kamari when you have to. Kamari got to the point where he's bucking. Dude, you bucking at 7 months? He's kicking and bucking when he don't get his way. He bucking. I said, Mari, I think I know who's getting ready to give Kamari his first spanking. Then I hear Miss Zulu's words say, y'all whooped Josh too early and you made him hard. Got on me. She got on me. You remember telling me that? Yes. Oh, she told me that? She told me that. So Kamari won't get he got to get start talking to him. Because his great grandmama lives in these ears. But we be bucking too when we kind of love somebody. Y'all jerking and bucking and stiffening all up. No, stop. Next week when we feed them people at Aruba,
Amen.
look out. Somebody might say this food nasty.
Oh.
They might say it. Y'all, people don't have any filters. But it's our job to stand in the gap and love them in spite of.
That's right.
Don't take it personal. Man, we sensitive.
Right.
Sensitive. Quit being sensitive.
That's right.
And know you're not going to get a pat on the back every time. You love somebody.
Love somebody.
Do it because you're supposed to do it.
That's right.
Because it's a mandate.
All right.
Whether you get rewarded openly or not.
Oh, Jesus. That's right.
I know y'all not looking for that. I know. You don't need that. Who you talking to? I know. You don't need that. But I'm helping you help somebody else.
Yeah.
Y'all, I said a lot today. Hope y'all are listening. Because you're getting ready to be confronted. Number one, with a man that needs to be encouraged. Whether he's your husband,
Yes.
I don't think it's going to be that. You need to encourage. You need to find people. I'm telling you, when I see men with children, I say, you're a gift to your child. And if you can see the smile that comes on their face. Because somebody's affirming what they're trying to do. And they struggle. Hang in there, bro. You're doing it.
Yes. Yes.
And I love to see that.
Thank you, God.
Now that I got this grade, I'm an elder. So the elder give you a little prop. You know, they like it. Yeah.
That's all right.
That's real. But we got to learn how to do that.
Yes, sir.
Quit holding back. I don't know why I'm saying all this, but I'm going to keep on saying it because somebody needs to hear it. We are trying to create an environment that is healthy.
That's right. That's right.
And talking and backbiting the gospel and all that is not healthy.
All right. All right. Amen. Amen.
We want to have a healthy environment so people can grow. In the lesson today, we learned about the parable of the wheat and the tares. We learned about mustard seed and we learned about yeast. And God uses agricultural language in the New Testament because that's what they were. They were a lot of farmers. So he spoke in a language that they understood. And one thing about a farmer, you got to be patient. Because stuff takes a while to grow. If I'm not mistaken, some of them vegetables take more than a couple of cycles before they even start to grow. You know, you got to wait.
Yeah, you gotta wait.
But we so instant, we want instant Christians too. Can I tell y'all? An instant Christian is impossible.
Right. Right.
All you smart folks, I know that you can get saved and ask Christ into your heart and you become an instant Christian. Yes, that's one way you can define it. But when you talk about being a mature, strong Christian, that does not happen instantly. Because you got to have a little trouble to build your faith. But you can't handle trouble by yourself because you have to know how to use your community, and your community has to be healthy enough to embrace and support what's going on without killing. Y'all don't like this kind of preaching. Y'all know I can't do what I do. Yes, ma'am.
While you were preaching, God gave me this and he said, tell the lie. Work for the night is coming. When night cometh, no man can work.
Work by any day. Work by any day. Y'all remember that song? Oh, y'all old school. When we just threw lines into songs. So we got a work wise day because night comes when no man can work. So that means we got a time limit to this. So time is winding up. And we want to be able to say that we did our best with whoever we came in contact with, and we gave them what we had. So we want to see some fruit from kind of what we're doing. Let me pray. God, I thank you for this time to share. I thank you for the men that are in this house, and I thank you for fathers. I thank you for everybody that's here. And I just pray that you help this word fall on good ground, that we may internalize it, execute all that you have for us to do. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. I want to say this openly. Sister Rourke, raise your hand. I'm messing with her. I'm not messing with her because I'm very serious. Sister Rourke made me this child probably over 20 years ago. Wow. Had to. Y'all, it's worn, it's washed. It looked like it's dirty, but this is a clean towel. Got a little rip in it. You know, it's old.
Yes.
But God said, bring this for her. Just tell her. It doesn't matter what you've been through, how jacked up and tore up and all the stuff, all beat up you are. You still have use. I'm sweating, I can still use this time. I said, you still have use. You already talking to me. See, sometimes when we come back, we have to say, I got to start at square one. You know, y'all know how we do. We got to start. I got to go all the way back. Well, this is not like trouble or sorry. Y'all play trouble or sorry? Yeah. You put back, you got to go back, you got to go through the process. No, this is not like that. Sometimes you have to start where you finished it. Boy, y'all don't hear that.
That's good.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
So all that, what you trying to do, stop. What's fun? How can you make up? How can you make up 20 years of living for God? Come on, that's exactly. But sometimes mentally we go all the way back to square one. No, you got some experiences that take you from square one. And I don't know what she's trying to do, but I know she's trying to figure out how do I walk. I can't walk. There it is. I can't walk. I can't tell G. I can't talk to him like I used to, because we ain't really talked in a few years. God says, do what you're supposed to do. Move like you always have moved. You're not. See, you can't tell somebody what they can or cannot see because of what they saw. Sometimes we done saw some bad stuff, but that doesn't take us from where God wants to use us. She's a seer.
Yes.
God shows her stuff. But she has to understand what God is doing. Why am I at this place at this time? This tile is a representation of your connection to me. I paid for them other tiles. You made these out of your heart. Because I wanted my pastor. I wasn't even a senior pastor yet. I want my pastor to have something with his name on it. And I told her I didn't want Gillespie on it. I just wanted pastor on it. Still got it. Still got it.
Thank you.
God is good. Come on, pastor. I'm going to pray. I'm going to try to pray for you. So come on. Mike.